Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So we have some pretty big news here that I don't know. I mean, I guess everyone just sort of missed this, but this technically was talked about at Comic-Con, right? Like it should have been at a Comic-Con. It was an interview with Collider here. You have the showrunner and some of the actors here together, and they're talking about Tales of the Walking Dead, in which they actually say that one of the episodes is going to be something like 35 years into the future, 30 plus years, something like that. Anyways, we'll talk about that. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this. And as always, if you haven't followed me on Twitch, definitely go do so. Once this video is up, I'm going to be live on Twitch, actually streaming Minecraft, and a few people there actually built the hilltop. And I've seen some pictures. It looks really amazing. It looks so accurate. So I'm going to go and visit that and see what the hell that's all about. And yeah, so once this video is up, I hope to see you guys over there. But let's actually get into some of the news here that I wanted to talk about here. So again, Tales of the Walking Dead, you know, the showrunner, Channing Powell, Terry Crews, Samantha Morton, and I don't know the name of the other actor, but he was there as well. And they were all talking about Tales of the Walking Dead and just sort of the storylines and this and that. And man, I just got to say, this is sort of off topic, or not off topic, but it's unrelated to what we're talking about here. But Terry Crews, like, man, he seems to be so excited about this episode here of the Walking, or Tales of the Walking Dead that he did. Like, he's talking about it being like this like mini movie, basically. You know, it's an hour-long movie that they did, and he seems so genuine. Like, this was actually super exciting for him to do something like this. So I honestly, I hope that his character does survive. I hope that it ends in a way where he could return, because it's always awesome when you have actors like that, right? Like actors of that status, like Terry Crews, right? You know, to be so excited about The Walking Dead, because everyone loves Terry Crews. He's amazing. And so it's just, yeah, to see his excitement about the franchise and just the episode he did. I think it would be so cool if he made some sort of return somehow, but obviously we have to watch the episode because maybe he just dies in it, right? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But what I wanted to talk about, obviously, was the fact that apparently one of the episode will take place 35 years into the future. Now, I don't know if it's 35 years, you know, added on to where we're currently at, and we're about 10, 11, 12 years into the apocalypse. So that would put it overall like, what, 45 to 47 years in? Or if it's just 35 from like the start. I'm just going to assume it's 35 from the start. And so, yeah, we're about 30. So it would be 2045. So that is really insane to actually think that we're going to get an episode that is set in 2045, basically. It's going to be in the range of like 2045 to like 2057, right? Around there, probably 2045, roughly there. And that is just, honestly, that is really insane. And I don't know what the episode is. That's the thing. Like, obviously, it's not the CDC episode. That doesn't really make too much sense. It doesn't seem to be the episode with the man with the, you know, with the backpack or whatever, and he's like, it seems like he's studying people or walkers or whatever, because that one was confirmed to be 10 years in. So I'm like, okay, so if it's 35 years in, like, which story is it? And is it this woman who's kind of, it feels like she's being haunted by something? I don't know, like, maybe it's that. Or is it the episode with, I believe the actor's name is Jesse Usher. He's from The Boys. He plays Atrian on The Boys. But I wonder if it's his episode, because I do wonder if 35 years in, if things are maybe a bit more normal. Like, I actually just, I'm really curious about this now. I want to know what episode this is, because this is, honestly, this reminds me of just like the Twilight Zone, to be honest. Like, that's why I hope that this wasn't sort of spoiled by accident from the showrunner and stuff. Like, I think it would be so cool if that was the reveal in the episode. You know, it's like an episode where maybe it's a little more, I don't want to say boring, but you're just sort of discovering new things. And there's all this stuff happening. Maybe you start to really like the characters and this and that. And then in the end, it's revealed that it's 35 years later. And you're like, whoa, what? And maybe even the character that's there is like the son of I don't even know who. Like, I don't even know who I would say, but just like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that character is the son, or I guess daughter of this character from the Walking Dead cast. Like, stuff like that would be just chilling. Like, man, I would get goosebumps. I would be like, that's a reveal, right? Like, that is a crazy reveal, which I don't think is going to be that, but you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that 35 years into the future is the reveal of the episode, or if it's actually going to say when the episode starts, like 2045 or whatever the hell the year is going to be, or 35 years in, and then we're going to see what the state of the world is like. And I wonder how different it's going to be, because I'm looking at all the episodes and I know there's specific ones that it's not going to be, right? Like, it's not going to be Terry Crews's episode. It definitely won't be. It's not going to be the episode that's set in Atlanta in 2010, obviously. It's not going to be the episode with the guy who has the backpack on, and that's, that one there that one's confirmed to be 10 years in. It's not going to be Alpha's episode, obviously not. And so it's going to be either Jesse Usher's episode or this other one where this woman is being sort of haunted by like this walker or whatever. And so, yeah, like which one is it going to be? My interest for Tales of the Walking Dead just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And obviously, I'm definitely I'm excited for this show, mostly because of Terry Crews's episode, the Atlanta episode, and the possibility of seeing Terminus and stuff. But like, just this here, I'm like, you know what? This is what we want from Tales of the Walking Dead. This is basically, like, honestly, I think it's more like Creepshow than like the Twilight Zone. Like, it's that type of storytelling where you get these one-off stories, but they're just, maybe in the future, maybe in like 10, 20 years, we're going to look back on this series and be like, man, that's such an iconic episode, because this is something that is so original, right? Like, I look back at Creepshow and I'm like, oh man, I love that story there. That story there is amazing. Or even with the Twilight Zone, right? There's certain stories or certain episodes that you're like, that was so good. I really wonder if Tales of the Walking Dead can actually have that here, because it seems like every episode that they're doing actually matters. And a lot of the impression that everyone got before watching Tales, I think, was this is just going to be, we'll get a couple of episodes where we do see like, Alpha come back or whatever, but most of the stories, or at least half of them for sure, are going to be more original stories, but more than that, it's going to be more like watching the humanity of this character, and it's kind of boring or whatever, and there's no real point to it, but they're actually adding stuff to it. They're going to do like a 35-year time jump, or one of the episodes where there's original characters, it's set around Atlanta in 2010. That's the kind of stuff that is just so perfect. I hope this show gets renewed for season 2. I imagine it's going to, because again, it would be crazy to just end something like this. Like, there's so much that you can do with Tales of the Walking Dead that, like, I'm really, like, they've never really talked, that I heard of anyways, because I've always just sort of mentioned it. I hope they do an animated episode or a what if episode. Like, I don't know if they've ever talked about doing animated episodes and stuff, but I know, like, what if episodes, I've never heard them talk about, but I've just always sort of thrown that out there. Like, that is something they could totally do. And I hope that they do, because I think that's something that the fans really want. I mean, don't do a lot of them, because honestly, doing a lot of them will make it kind of, like a what if Carl was alive, I think would be really fun. What if Shane was alive during certain parts, I think would be a lot of fun, because if it was animated, then you can actually have, some of the actors coming back. I mean, it would be crazy if you actually filmed it live and you got all of the actors coming back, but I don't see that being a possibility. Obviously, that'd be crazy to get everyone to come back for one episode. But going back to the 35-year time jump thing, I think that this is really insane, and it's going to actually feel kind of just crazy watching it, because this is going to be during a time where it's very possible some of our favorite characters aren't even alive anymore, right? Like, they're likely not even alive anymore. And if they were, I guess they would be probably in their 70s, maybe 80s if it's like 35 years from now. But they're probably going to be 70s, 60s, 70s, around there, which obviously they could still be alive. But I'm more talking about the time jump, right? Like, just that many more years into the future. The Rick television show, it might go for a couple seasons, but like my overall sort of prediction with it is it's going to end with Rick's death. I do think we're going to get that statue. And so it's possible that during this episode here, we're going to get on Tales, Rick's already dead, just in the world, right? And just think, like, Judith and RJ are going to be like in their prime at this time, right? Like, they're going to be 30 or 40 years old, around there. They're going to be like leaders of whatever place they're living in, or I guess if that's how that works, because I know in the comic, technically Carl wasn't a leader or anything. Like, he just kind of wanted to live on his own, on a farm, and he just raised his daughter there. But he was famous. Like, whenever he went into the city and stuff, like, he was famous. People knew who he was. And so I imagine Judith and RJ will they'll probably get that treatment, right? So it's just crazy to think about. Like, honestly, 35 years into the future is just insane. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Like, what is the point of in that story, right? And I'm thinking of those 2 episodes there that I said that it's probably going to be. Does it make sense for it to be that woman who's like haunted or whatever? Maybe. That's also possible. But I think it would be really cool if it was the Jesse Usher episode. Just because, there was that mob going after him. And I'm like, well, why is the mob going after him? It's 35 years in, because that episode is kind of hard to pinpoint what the story is going to be, right? Like, we have Jesse Usher. It seems like he's discovered something. Maybe he's trying to tell people, but then there's other people who just are pissed off about it, frustrated with it. They don't want to deal with it. And so they get mad at him, and there's this whole thing. I don't know. I don't really know what the episode's going to be about, but it's fascinating. Like, yeah, now we just got to predict, right? Like, which episode is it going to be? But anyways, post all your thoughts down below. I know I posted a tweet about this yesterday, and a lot of people wanted context on it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do a video on it immediately. Just because I said, like, 35 years into the future, what? And I said all this stuff here, and everyone's like, okay, wait, what? What the hell are you talking about? And yeah, then I was like, okay, I guess I should do a video on it right away, because yeah, I don't think a lot of people completely understand what the hell I'm talking about. So hopefully you guys understand it now, but this is actually really crazy, and I can't believe that I missed this, to be honest. Like, I guess a lot of the focus was on The Walking Dead, and like also like the Rick Grimes television show, right? Like, everyone kind of just focused on that because it was such a big deal that Tales of the Walking Dead is dropping all this stuff here that just, you know. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.